Well, live. Wait for the bang. I'm waiting for the bang, ladies and gentlemen. Waiting for the bangs. 9:47. 9:47. There's the bang. 9:47. All right. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. As promised, we would come back to you with commentary. I apologize for being so late. I hope everybody's fine. How y'all doing? Hey, Instagram. Hey, Facebook, on 3 different platforms on Facebook. Also, welcome linked. I know this is a business website linked, but what I'm talking about is business as well. Business is warfare. And if our minds are not in tune with the time, if our minds are not healthy enough to conduct proper business, then we'll fail in business, or we will become tyrants in business. So business is warfare. And that's why I wanted to start broadcasting live on Linked. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, as well as YouTube. Thank everybody. Hi to everyone. Blessings to you. Greetings to you. Hotep. I hope that Astray, all that good stuff. I hope assalamu alaikum. Praise God to you. I hope that everyone is doing fine. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. Very heavy topic today. I hope that you'll tune in, and I hope that you'll be patient with me as we talk about when worlds collide. We're in a very tumultuous time. To everyone that knows what I've been through, I've had several surgeries, so I've lost some memory. I've lost some of my verbiage. I've lost some of my remembering words to use properly. So if I say something, and I have a little slur every now and then, so if I say something that's not correct, take it for love. It's Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. After the intro, we will get started on this subject, when worlds collide. You don't want to miss this for the young people. I'll be coming from biblical text a lot today because it's necessary. Please be patient with me. And also, there's something I wanted to say that I can't remember. But let's get started. This is Jamil Salib Zamir, Manning, South Carolina. After the intro, we will be ready.
Thank you so very much for tuning in to this month installment of the 19 Report. I am your host, Brother Johnny. I walked a thin line between right and wrong, took my fears to God, then I wrote this song. The spirit kept calling, so I answered the phone, and then I manned up and got some backbone. My mind resonates at a much higher tone, solid foundation, empire zone. 3 mountains, I'm in one, right to left counted, 9 and then 1, left to right switch it, 1 and then 9, west to east, south to north, a thin line. I know Christ exists, cause his mercy allows me a chance to stand 3 on a square. Yeah, we in there. This is Brother.
Yeah, I said I know Christ exists because his mercy allows me a chance to stand 3 on a square. If you know anything about the number 3 and the square, then you know what I'm talking about. Thank everyone for tuning in. Lord of the Worlds today. Want to go into some heavy biblical text today, as well as warn us of the time that we're in. But I want to start with this. Our young people are being led into a path of destruction. It's bigger than the police department. It's bigger than government, really. But it is God's plan that we be tested and that our desires be tested. If you remember the book of Job, when Satan was walking with the righteous, and God gave Satan the greeting, salam alaikum. Satan says, wa alaikum salam. God asked, where are you coming from? He said, I'm looking all through the earth, looking for souls that I can devour. Then God does something that some people don't really understand in biblical text. He said, have you considered my servant Job? He gave up a servant of his. And Satan says, yeah, God, I considered him, but you got a hedge around him. You remove that hedge from around him, and I'll make him curse you to your face. God says, I'll remove the hedge. The only caveat is you do not take his life. The only condition, don't take his life. At that point, God allows Satan to destroy Job and his family. All of his children were killed. He lost all of his money. I mean, everything was gone. With Job, we're under a severe trial that no man can take us out of. No amount of money, no amount of drugs, no amount of anything that we desire to do will take us out of the state that we're in today. Parents can't take you out. Each person has to walk their journey alone. Although you will have guidance from others who will be able to help you along that journey, the journey is yours to take. So we're at this point in life where young people are trying to escape and old people are acting young because they don't want the responsibility of what age requires. Worlds are colliding. People who think that they are free from violence and free from all of the sins of the world, you're going to be introduced to that. Our children are born into that, born into sin, shaped in inequity. There is no escaping it. And the only thing that we can do is walk through it. So the book says, yea, though I walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod, thy staff, they comfort me. We're facing a time of great fear. We're facing a time of great trials, and I want to go into the subject matter today. I thank you all for tuning in, and I also hope that my feed will not be interrupted. I see my screen is blinking a little bit. All of my computers have had a problem for some reason, but we're working on that. So let's get started. Lord of all the worlds, when worlds collide, we have to prepare ourselves for what's coming. I want to go into the Quran first. This is going to be a teaching session today. I thank anyone and everyone that's tuning in. I do ask that you begin to share my podcast, my information. I ask that you get out of the mindset of fear. You'll find that most of the people who you think aren't afraid, they're only not afraid when they're in their world. But if you have to come outside of your world and realize when you wake a person up from a dream and it's a good dream, they want to hurt you. We're in a dream state right now. So to wake anyone up out of this illusion, they will want to hurt you. So I understand the fear that we have. I'm afraid too, but it's time for us to share this knowledge. Our parents didn't do it. They hid it. And by hiding it, we did not prepare ourselves to deal with it. Now our children are manifesting everything that our parents hid, all of the infidelity, all of the incest, all of the rape, all of the tricks, all of the drug dealing, all of the lies, all of the killing, all of it. Our children are living it out in real time. And by doing that, they're setting themselves up for destruction because this world is saying we must eliminate God's chosen. And in order to eliminate God's chosen, you have to justify killing them, like they justified killing Jesus. They couldn't just kill him. They had to get the people on their side to justify it. So in my flyer, I said, when worlds collide. And then as a subtitle, I had, all praise is due to God, the Lord of all the worlds. Why Lord of all the worlds? Because we're all in different worlds. There's a gangster world. There is a political world. There is a religious world. There is a child world. There is a world of desire. There are all these worlds on one earth, but God is in control of all of them. So I want to read this out of the Quran. This is Surah 1, chapter 1, Al-Fatiha. Al-Fatiha is Arabic for the opening. I'm going to read the opening of the Bible as well. In the opening Al-Fatiha of the Quran, it says, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. Keep us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favor, not the path of those upon whom the wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray. We don't want to be those who go astray, but Satan wants us to be of those who go astray. I need you to pay close attention today. I just said that God gave Job over to be tested by Satan because Satan wants us to go astray. He mastered that, according to the Bible in the book of Genesis, by making Adam and Eve go astray from God's law. And by going astray from God's law, they were cast out of the Garden of Eden. Being outside of the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, there's nowhere in the Bible where they ever were able to return to the garden, which means we never figured out life, which means we're still going through the vicissitudes of life and not understanding each level of life. So we are on that wheel of samsara, constantly going through the same cycle over and over until someone says, for the sake of my children, For the sake of the future, I'm going to sacrifice my life that the children will get a clear understanding of what they are supposed to do from this point on. I hope that makes sense. Everyone can't do it. Most of your ministers and preachers and motivational speakers are not sacrificing their lives to get you out of hell. They're motivating you to survive in hell. So when a person teaches you how to do something in a hell of a world, then you're surviving in it. We are survivors in Satan's world. According to Thessalonians, this is Satan's world. So we are being taught through college, through religion, how to survive in it, but not how to exit it. No one has taught us how to get back to the kingdom. No one is doing that. Very few people are doing that. So some of us have to sacrifice for that. And that sacrifice requires that you go through so much turmoil, torture, torment, hell, in order to start the ball rolling to getting our people back on the path to God. Most of what you're being taught is not teaching us how to get back on the path to God. It is teaching us how to survive in a hell of a condition. So, world, it says, Lord of all the worlds. What is the world? The earthly state of human existence. The earth with its inhabitants and all things upon it. Individual courses of life. The inhabitants of the earth, the human race, the concerns of the earth and its affairs as distinguished from heaven and the life to come. Secular affairs, the system of creating things, universe, a division or generation of the inhabitants of the earth distinguished by living together at the same place or at the same time. The medieval world, a distinctive class of people or persons or their sphere of interest or activity. The earth has not done wrong by God. But the worlds that were created in the earth, everyone is after their own selfish desires. The war in Russia and the Ukraine, selfish desires. The war, the bringing of slaves to this country to circumvent finances necessary to pay for labor, desire, selfish desires. That's what it all is. The desire to kill, the desire to rob, the desire to steal. All of these things are worlds. And we have to prepare ourselves to fight in these worlds. Jesus was prepared to fight in any world that he was introduced into. And not only that, prepared to give his life for what he believed. Most of us want to live forever. And in that desire to live forever, we're willing to do whatever it takes to preserve the life that we have and thinking that it's the life that God wants us to have, ladies and gentlemen, but it's not. When we go astray from God's law, we create a new world. When you go astray in your home from your parents' rules in the home, you create a new world in the home. Then what happens? You collide with your parents. That's why I use the title, When Worlds Collide. In the same home, parents and children on different pages because the child decides, I want to do things differently. There's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you're under the roof of your parents, the roof, there are certain rules, laws, guidelines that must be followed. When a wife decides she wants to go contrary to marriage, worlds collide. Husband and wife are against each other. When a husband decides he wants to do opposite, worlds collide. When a person born as a male decide they want to be a female, worlds collide. When gangs decide they want to take over a community, worlds collide. When the police are not doing their job as civil servants, but they're torturing and tormenting the people, worlds collide. So there are all of these worlds in relationships, in finance, all of these worlds that lead us astray from the rhythm, the universal frequency of the earth. And once you lose frequency, there is only chaos and anarchy and confusion. Now, chaos, when we go astray, we create new worlds. That's why America has talked about a new world order for over a century or maybe even a decade. But in order to create a new world order, you must first create anarchy and chaos. Take the desires of the people and magnify them to where it gets so out of control that the people can no longer stop the evolution of the cycle of the chaos. So when you create chaos and allow it to fester, the people who are in an opposite world of the chaos, who are terrified of the chaos, will eventually cry out and say, somebody stop the chaos. Worlds are going to collide. The young are in rebellion to everything that we lied to them about. You can't talk to young people anymore. They've made their mind up that their way is the best way. It's not. They're going to implode. They're going to self-destruct. They're killing each other at an alarming rate. Report came over the radio today, NPR radio, that over 1,000 teachers have quit their job this year because they're no longer teaching the children, they're parenting the children. They're trying to keep the children in control, and they can't do what they went to school to do. Chaos. When we go astray, we create new worlds. Each world is governed by a different set of rules. Some worlds have no rules. And when a world has no rules, no codes, no ethics, then that world is considered to be in chaos or anarchy. This generation, the young people, have no rules, no codes, no ethics. Generations prior to them tried to follow rules, but there were really no rules, no codes, no ethics. Since the rebellion of the original people from the Holy Land, there has been recycling of old rules, changing of rules, and adding in of rules, and all of this causes chaos. When there is chaos in the body, when radical cells are going all over the place, you get sick. You can get the flu. Chaos causes COVID. You can get cancer. Chaos of the cells in the body causes that, causes high blood pressure. Anything that is not in rhythmic pattern causes chaos. Now, chaos theory. Any of various general mathematical theories of chaotic dynamical systems, such as the complex or nonlinear system found in weather patterns, ecosystem, economics, markets, and biochemical systems. The study of iterative, nonlinear systems in which arbitrarily small variations in initial conditions become magnified over time. Pay attention to this. The study of iterative, nonlinear systems in which arbitrarily small variations in initial conditions become magnified over time. That is Satan's way of taking control of society, causing chaos, and bringing order out of chaos, magnifying the system over time. When you got a cold, if you jump on the cold immediately, you prevent the cold from turning into the flu or pneumonia or something else, because you recognize the chaos in your body and you're trying to correct it. In society today, we don't see the small, subtle things that destroy homes, minds, spirits, communities, nations. If you look in Detroit, Arkansas, Chicago, Alabama, New York, most of these places, when you go into their ghettos where we are glad to talk about ghetto life, it's deteriorated because of the radical cells, because of the chaos, because of the anarchy, because of the lack of law in those communities. The people who are winning in those places are those who are in a world that they make the rules and they're strong enough to enforce the rules. If you are in a community where laws are enforced to keep the community safe, and you allow any type of radical idea or cell to enter that community, it's going to gradually change the dynamics of that community. And if you think you can stay quiet and not address the issue because I don't want no trouble, it's going to fester. The thing about a roach is if you don't kill that roach, it's going to go inside of the wall and magnify and multiply. And when you turn the light on days from now, that one roach has had 100 babies. Now you have a roach infested home, termite infested home. You must stop these things immediately when worlds collide. When your mind begins to think opposite of God, and you will know when your rhythm is off, you must address that thought immediately. Because when we get into selfish desires, as Adam and Eve did in the garden, those selfish desires caused a cataclysmic event, a series of unfortunate events that has left us in the condition that we are in until this day. So we stay outside of heaven, outside of the garden. We are in hell, but we're trying to make a home in hell because of cognitive dissonance. We've given up. The average person cannot fight any longer. So whatever desire we have is the desire that we push, is the desire that leads our lives. But it is not necessarily a desire that is going to give us the results of life that we want. So everyone is dealing with selfish desires. I read chaos theory because we're dealing with high scientists. Chaos is a science. Satan is a scientist, but God is a master scientist, no question about it. However, Satan will be allowed to test this scientific theory until the day that God says enough is enough. God allowed Satan to entice Adam and Eve. He allowed it. Then he went to Adam and Eve to find out, hey, man, what happened? To see if they would tell the truth, and they could not. They kept some of the woman said, yeah, I did it. The man said, well, yeah, I did it. But the woman, it's this woman you gave me. So there is an act of rebellion, and there is the undenied act of rebellion. But because neither one fessed up in their spirit, all were ostracized from God's initial protection. Why scientists are playing a game of chess with our lives. There's a book out called The Grand Chessboard. Read it. Testing theories by leading us into different worlds to see which world will be victorious, which world will be the one that manifests over each one. We go through cycles of worlds. We go through cycles of desires. And in going through these cycles of desires, when they are contrary to God's desire for us, we're creating a bigger hell. I'm in the process, and the community is in the process of trying to clean up the sides of the roads, because a little bit of trash, a little bit of trash, a little bit of trash has made our community look like it's a trash dump. It only takes a little bit. If it is not addressed and handled, it's going to get out of control. I'm telling you this for a reason. Watch your preachers. Watch your politicians. Watch your community activists. Watch the police department. Watch the gang activity. Watch those who wish to go against the laws of God. Worlds are colliding. Some have more assistance in their worlds being successful. But God is master over all these worlds. So I'm going to hang out with him if he will allow it. So scientists are manipulating our minds, our thoughts, our desires to make us do whatever he wants us to do. For you gang members, these thoughts are not yours. This is a scientific game being played because most of you don't even know what you're fighting for. And the ultimate end game of all of this is to make our people look like savages. Why you think they don't post up white folks killing white folks committing crimes, and they're committing universal crimes? This is not racial. This is truth. You got to fight for yourself before you fight for anybody. We're looking for equality amongst the races. Until that, it's war, period. Worlds will collide. If I got to stop being who I am in order for you to like me or feel comfortable around me, we're at war. If I don't have a record of being a violent person, of instigating trouble, of being a law-abiding citizen, but I can't voice my opinions about the concerns of my people in my community because you are of another color or sexual preference, we're at war. Then worlds are going to collide in that. Worlds are going to collide when you tell me I got to respect you for being gay, but you don't have to respect me for saying I don't want to be gay. I got to respect you because you want to smoke marijuana and drink liquor, but you don't want to respect me because I don't want to. Worlds are going to collide. This is where we are. You can't even get to the high level of politics and everything else because we can't deal with community issues. All of this is being played out on a grand chessboard by scientists who understand the dynamics of desire, who understand that chaos can destroy, but after chaos, you can rebuild any way you want to. And all we have as a people is the mind of destruction. That's it. Everything that we buy or utilize that's for growth, most of us destroy with it. Guns, motorcycles, four-wheelers, you tear up the roads, you're killing each other with the guns, you're killing each other with the drugs. We destroy communities. My people, they're black, they're white ghettos. In fact, the word ghetto started in with the Jews, with Hitler, created ghettos. We adopted the practice and the mindset, and we love these idea of trashy communities. Filth all over the place, loud music. All of this bring down property value. Worlds are colliding because we are not a people who address our own inconsistencies with God's desire. Slavery was because we rejected God. And we had to not only go through the period of slavery as the chosen people, but God extracted out of us a germ and allowed us to see ourselves in a mirror. Every race of people comes from us. When worlds collide, we're talking chaos. Chaos, I said, is a science. And you're being manipulated by master scientists. God is a scientist. Satan is also a scientist. And we can't get nowhere beyond our communities. You remember when black folks used to try to move in white people's neighborhood and they would kill us, threaten us because we wanted to change our world into a better world, not realizing that we could do the same thing that they're doing in their communities and our communities, thinking that their ice is colder, their water is more wet. That's a mental issue. That causes chaos in the black community. So today we are quote unquote niggas. We don't see any value. So I can kill a nigga like I kill a roach. I've classified my entire race of people as nothing. So it's nothing to take their lives or go against what's community based. It's nothing to do that. But Adam and Eve did that to the God who created them. Let's go into a little bit of stuff, then we're going to close it out. We're talking about when worlds collide, man. Why scientists are playing a game of chess with our lives, testing theories by leading us into different worlds to see which world will be victorious. That's what the New World Order is all about. Wise scientists, shadow governments have an idea that we can create a better world if we do it the way we want to do it. So, testing theories by leading us into different worlds to see which world will be victorious. In the process, God allows Satan to test his own theories, that his creation will be under trial as well. So God allowed it. As I said in the book of Job, God asked Satan, have you considered my servant Job? Test him. So we are all under trials. God will know who is true and he will know who liars are. That's what the test is for. Every desire that we have, we will be allowed to manifest it. and see if that desire is going to lead us astray from God. Let's go to Genesis 18:20-21 real quick. It says, and the Lord said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now. The Lord said this. I'm going to go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me. And if not, I will know. So God needs to know where our mind is. The way that the God within us, because the book says we are all God's children of the Most High, the way that is manifested is by trial. So God places this Adam and Eve in the garden and tries them, leaves, and allows this a contrary thought to enter their minds to see if they would listen to God or go with their desires. Parents are the same. You let your children go after a while to see if they're going to obtain what you gave them, or rather they're going to reject it. And if they reject it, they have to deal with life in regards to that. Now, the book of Genesis, God created order out of chaos. Order out of chaos. That is the concept that this world uses. Everything that you see happening in the world today is by design. Everything that is happening in the world today, from our children rebelling against us to our children causing trouble, bringing trouble, politics, everything by God's design. Everyone has to be tested. With loss of life, diminution of fruit, loss of money, loss of home. That's the story of Job. But the book, the people who are teaching the book are constantly telling you that you only with God if good things are happening. So we reject even hearing where we are in life. I don't want to hear it. And by not accepting that, we are going deeper and deeper into a cycle of hell. And our children are not strong enough to get out of it. They cannot get out of it. So the book of Genesis, God created order out of chaos. He made the universe and everything in it to bow down to his will. The universe submits to God. It does not go against it. The universe will not disobey God. Let's look at John 1, King James Version of the Bible, 1-5. Check this out. In the beginning was the Word. When I started teaching, when I started coming on with commentaries, I told you this is what God told me to do, because people aren't listening, people aren't accepting, but the Word resonates through the frequency of the earth. The earth's frequency is 7.83 hertz. And if you obey God and you do what you're supposed to do with the rhythmic frequency of the earth, in tune with God's will, the word will find a resting place. So sometimes the word will be soft. Sometimes the word will be filled with profanity. Sometimes the words will be about sex and desire and drugs and gangs and politics and God, but the word must be made manifest. So John 1, King James Version of the Bible says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. I'm going to say that again. Life is the light. If you're living in darkness, then you're not alive. You're not living. You're not living life. You are a product of Satan's idea, scientific chaos theory, that they would create a world of zombies. The drugs are to make you brain dead. When the mind shuts down, brain cells die. I spoke with my doctor, my heart specialist today, and I said, I'm not getting my memory back like I thought I would, like you said I would. He said, today, you may never get it back. When you go under anesthesia, when you go to sleep, you lose brain cells. Sometimes they're dormant, they'll wake up, sometimes they die. Drugs, alcohol, rebellion, all of these things kill the natural, universal cycle of our brain cells. Satan's chaotic theory was to create a nation of zombies who act upon desire and feeding. All you want to do is feed your desire. All of the zombie movies, they want brains. They want brains. They want to kill the brain. They want to eat the brain. Why? Because they are brain dead. And if you want to kill the zombie, shoot him in the brain. Take the brain. The chaotic theory has our children's brain. So the word does not reach us because we are brain dead. And then once you are brain dead, all you have is a body that has desire. And if you can act on those desires, that's what you're going to do. That's what this world is. Everybody want to prove that I'm going to do what I want to do. Chaos, anarchy. Without a rhythmic pattern, you will die. The heart must beat at a rhythm or you are in AFib. AFib will kill you. That's why I had to be operated on. I was in AFib. Either I was going to die with the AFib or I was going to live with the AFib, but it would cause problems. It could cause strokes. It could cause blood clots. It could cause all of these issues. Good teaching. And without him was nothing, anything made that was made. We're in John 1. And then in John 4, it says, in him was life. And the life was the light of men, the light. And the light shineth in darkness. And the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. John was sent because the darkness could not comprehend the light. Satan's job in chaos and the chaos created in the world, the confusion in the minds, the confusion in genetics. Satan's job is to confuse us to the point where we stay stagnant, what they call Stockholm syndrome. Just whatever you tell me to do is what I'll do because I don't know what to do. Let's go to Genesis 1, the beginning. In the beginning, God created heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. We are in darkness, nothing but chaos and confusion in darkness. God had the power to bring together the atoms of darkness and create himself, create thought, create words, create the heavens and the earth, put things on the earth, create man, recreate man, and give man and woman the ability to be a small God and create man and woman in different worlds. There's life on different planets you don't know nothing about because you think this is the only one. You think America is the only place. You don't know nothing about nothing else. We have to begin to study universally everything in order to comprehend where we are, and what must be done in this time we're talking about when worlds collide. Worlds have collided. Wars are fought because one person says, I want to do this. The other person says, I want to do that. And when each one agrees that they're going to not let the other do what they want to do, wars are created. That's what violence is about. That's what I'm talking about. I don't care how holy or righteous you are. When worlds collide, we got to get up for the fight or die. You got to match energy with people today because they're going to bring everything they can in the name of Satan to take away your rights to live the way you want to live. Worlds must collide because Satan's secret sauce is that he whispers things. He whispers into the minds and hearts of people. And in whispering, his evil gets to spread further than a person who speaks out loud. The person who speaks out loud is considered a troublemaker. I'm considered a troublemaker. But the person who whispers it under the door gets their message sent out far. So Satan is whispering words to us and our children. That's why the Bible says that in the last days, mother be against father, child against child, child against mother. These are the signs of people who are fighting for their desires and their desire to have a world where they can do anything they want to. Adam and Eve wanted to do anything they want to. God is saying, I will, if you want to do it, go do it. But there is a consequence to doing whatever you want to do. But if you want to be safe, find your way back. Now we're in darkness, nothing but chaos and confusion in the darkness. If a light is turned on in the dark, you see all of the rodents, all of the evil scatter. Two people could be on the dance floor, butt naked, screwing. Turn the light on, they're going to run. They could be slow dragging, dancing, turn the light on. They're going to run. Roaches all over your floor, turn the light on. Rats all over the floor, turn the light on. They're going to run. Because the light reveals what's in the dark. And God has chosen certain people to turn the light on. We're almost done. Rodents running from the light. But what happens when the light is already on, but the rodent has no comprehension of what light is? Then the rodent is in a dark place in its own mind, that it can no longer comprehend common sense. Satan's job is to erase common sense and replace common sense with selfish desires. So in John 1:4, it says, 1:5, it says, and the light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehends it not. No matter how much light come to us today, we don't understand it at all. Want that nigga shut up. Man, I don't want to hear that righteous shit, man. You kicking knowledge, nigga? I don't want to hear that shit, nigga. I'm getting this money, nigga. I'm getting this money, nigga. That's us. That's us. In our worlds. Whatever we got to do to fill those desires is what we do, but there's consequences to it. Worlds are gonna collide. Book says when Satan casts out Satan, you know some things is happening. We are in the darkness, again, rodents, light. Satan's job is to erase common sense and replace it with selfish desires. Now let's go into selfish desires. We're going to be done. Yes, we're going to be done. Now, what is chaos? Chaos is a condition or place of great disorder or confusion. In our minds, we're in chaos. The only thing that calms our minds now is the things of this world that Satan has influenced us to indulge in, that makes us forget. But if you're sick, if you have cancer and you don't think about the cancer, that doesn't make it go away. You got high blood pressure, you just pray away. You think you're going to pray it away and you go and eat some pork, that ain't going to make it go away. A condition or place of great disorder of confusion. We're in confusion. Chaos theory. Any of various general mathematical theories of chaotic dynamic systems, such as a complex or nonlinear. I read that already. I went up, didn't I? We talked about chaos. We're almost done. Yeah. We're in the darkness. We're talking about selfish desires. Selfish desires causes chaos. Satan causes chaos and then brings a new world out of chaos. Out of chaos comes order. This world is in chaos. Each group of people are trying to manifest or magnify their idea of what they think the world should be. Everything is quiet until it becomes loud. Remember when the gays and homosexual community were in the closet? Well, during the Renaissance era, in especially a Harlem Renaissance in New York, all of the homosexuals and gays, they did most of the great writings and poetry and songs of the time came from them. But they were in their own community. But they called it being in the closet. So when you come out of the closet, now you're letting the world know that, hey, we've been building up this thing. Now we can manifest it now. And by the time it comes out of the closet, it's so strong that you're not able to fight it. Satan has a plan for us, and he's been manifesting it since the day we were born. I read to you last time I was on the air that in the book of Revelations, it said that Satan stands at the womb of the woman, waiting to devour her seed. Self-desire causes chaos. Satan causes chaos and then brings a new world order out of chaos. Everything that y'all are being allowed to do is intended. See, they want to lock up the murderer and let him go free. They put that in law so that you can go back to the community and become a bigger animal. And so they can put it on the world screen and say, look, even when we give these niggas a chance, these niggas act like animals. Look at them. Some of these police officers are being sacrificed to our guns. So they can say, even when the police officers come up and be nice, look at what these animals do. They got one plastered over the news where the guy shot, the black man shot his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, then told the cop, come on, she in here, she bleeding. And when the cops came up, the cop came up nice, white cop. And he pulled his gun and shot the cop, shot him. You can hear the cop screaming and yelling. He's killing cops. They're killing cops. It's by design. Sacrifices must be made in order for a new world to come in. You selling drugs, seem like you getting away with it by design. Kill as many of these niggas as you can. Kill as many of the weak as you can. We don't care. Not to say that all police officers are bad. Police officers are doing their job. I know many very good ones who've helped me and my wife in many horrible situations, and they did not drop the ball. White police officers. So I know there are good ones out there. That's not what I'm saying. They're allowing you to sell your drugs. They're legalizing all the drugs because the marijuana, although it might make you feel good, is killing your brain cells and common sense you will no longer have. You will no longer have common sense. That drug brings out of you either your desires to do whatever you want to do, or it puts you to sleep and you don't do nothing. The only things we are capable of doing is those things that we've done repetitiously. You can drive. And as I told you before last year, that more of our young people will die in car accidents because of marijuana. You still inebriated. You still don't have the ability to react quickly to things. You're driving too fast. Your foot is light. Your vision is blurry. But God is turning this thing and you're going to begin to kill yourself. We're closing now. When worlds collide, all of the things that we're being allowed to do because we want to satisfy selfish desires. I want more, so I'm going to sell drugs. I'm going to rob cars. I'm going to kill people. It's going to be allowed to continue until God says stop. So most of us have survived, and our grandparents have survived in different worlds from their period to this period. It's a new world, but they're surviving. We're surviving. Let's go in Isaiah 4:7-8-9. We're closing. King James Version of the Bible. Check this out. Isaiah 47:8-9. Therefore, hear now this. Thou that art given to pleasure, those who are given to pleasure, that dwelleth carelessly, do whatever you want regardless of the consequences, that saith in thy heart, I am and none else besides me. You've convinced yourself that the only thing that matters is what I want to matter. That's the world we're in. That's why we can't develop community, because whatever I want to do is what I'm going to do. I don't care about nobody. And if the person who is being offended by what you're doing is not able to stand against you and match your energy, they lose. You win. That's why we have so many black ghettos, because the gangs and the violence wins. Why? Because we close our doors and thinking, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Long as it ain't good. It's got everything to do with you. Everything to do with us. If violence is there, it's going to affect us. So the Isaiah 47:8-9 says, therefore, hear not this. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasure, that dwelleth carelessly, that saith in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. I'm just blessed and highly favored. That's how y'all do on the internet. Always talking about God and evil as hell. Always whispering and spreading gossip and destroying people's relationships and all kind of mess. But you can get up on the internet and say, oh, look at my child. They're just so not bad as hell. But all you want to accentuate is what appears to be positive. So the book says, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things, Isaiah 47, 8-9 says, and this is the 9th verse, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. What two things? The loss of your children, that you said, my child don't do no wrong. My child is good. You're going to lose them. The loss of children and widowhood. You're going to lose your relationships. The book says this is going to come in one day. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitudes of thy sorcery. God says that I'm going to perfect the art of punishing you for the multitudes of our sorcery and for the great abundance of our enchantments. Sorcery and enchantment. We will be punished for these things in one day. Day is like 1,000 years. It's happening, man. We are being destroyed thinking that we're winning. Evil think that it's winning. But the evil that is being allowed to manifest is by God's permission for a purpose. It has an end to it. The thing about Satan is he controls radio, television, and all mass media. So he puts out whatever he wants you to know. The world is dying, falling apart. You don't travel nowhere, so you think the idea in your mind is brand new, but it's not. The things that are happening now, not brand new. Y'all don't even know that T.D. Jakes drinks wine and smokes cigars. Y'all think he cussed too. Eddie Griffin talked in his comedy skit, talked about how when he had a show with T.D. Jakes on the same night and some of the people came to his show and T.D. Jakes cussed at him. So when I say a curse word, y'all think I'm going straight to hell. I'm already in hell. I'm trying to get out. And I'm trying to take you with me by God's permission. So everything he gives me to tell you, whether I'm hurting, which I'm hurting very bad. My chest is killing me today, which I've been to the doctor this morning, had 2 appointments, got a procedure coming up. But and my aunt passed. My last aunt on my father's side died. Her funeral will be Thursday. The day of her death, I was out picking up trash. I went out because we got to do things. The day of my brother's death, I had something to do. When he died, I did it. We move. We don't make excuses. We go because we got so little time to take care of what needs to be taken care of. So it says, foul sorcery and enchantment is coming. Let's go to 2 Timothy 3, 2-4. We're about to close. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, I apologize for being so late on the broadcast, but my plate is full. I got some interviews coming up. I got some people I'm going to interview and a lot of other things by God's permission. Dale Castro and myself still hitting hard with the Truth Show like it is, the 19 Report, and Mike Check. We're still going with that. Community of Concerned Citizens. We're out doing the trash thing now. Community roadside cleanup. It's just so many things going on, and you don't get a lot of help because more people want to see you fail than want to see you succeed. And most people think that it takes all of this stuff to make things happen, but all it takes is effort, community and collective effort. 1 or 2 people. God says where there are 2, he's in the midst of that. Growth can come from that. 2 Timothy 3, 2-4. For people will be loved. This is predictions of the future. The future is now. 2 Timothy 3, 2 through 4. For people will be lovers of self. Sounds familiar? I, me. Lovers of money. The bag. Proud. Look at me. Arrogant. I'm right, you wrong. Abusive. Disobedient to their parents. Ungrateful. Unholy. Heartless. Unappeasable. Slanderous. Without self-control. Brutal. Not loving good. Treacherous. Reckless. Swollen with conceit. Lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. 2 Timothy 3, 2, and 4 is describing the characteristics of the people in the last day. Let's go through it one more time quickly. For people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving God, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. How much have our loved ones cheated, have sex with us? Is that satisfactory to us now? Did that satisfy our desire, that rebellion? No. In fact, it has caused more problem. Unwanted pregnancies, mama coming home with babies and telling the father that it's his, destroying children's lives because they don't know their lineage, their bloodline, because you done lied and said this the daddy, this the mama, this. We've messed up. Worlds are colliding and we cannot walk around it. We got to walk through it. We got to prepare ourselves and put on the full armor of God in order to prepare for this day. I don't care how much your preacher talk about all the good things in the world. The bad is there too. For every good, there is a bad. For every right, there is a left. For every positive, there's a negative on the same frequency. Only way we can stop this is we got to stop it. Galatians 5:17 through 21 is the last one. For the desires of the flesh are against the spirit. I said the desires of the flesh are against the spirit. You ain't smoking marijuana for your spirit, for the flesh. You ain't committing adultery for your spirit, it's for the flesh. You ain't working 12, 18 hours and neglecting home for your spirit, it's for your flesh. You ain't selling drugs for your spirit, it's for your flesh. You ain't committing crimes for your spirit, it's for your flesh. Zombies. For the desire of the flesh are against the spirit, and the desires of the spirit are against the flesh. Remember I said there's a right and a wrong, a left and a right, a yin and a yang. Always opposites. Everything you doing, that's how you know God exists. Because if you're doing something wrong, the harder you go to do that wrong, if you go that hard to do right, you get the same results. Not as fast, because Satan's world is quick. You get it quick and you lose it quick. Where the PPP loans at? Where the savings at? Gas prices going up, food prices going up, the little money we had is gone. Everything you can get from the left, you can get from the right. For the desires of the flesh are against the spirit, and the desires of the spirit are against the flesh. For these are opposed to each other, to keep you from doing the things you want to do. They are opposed. This is in the Bible. Does your preacher teach you about these things? Galatians 5:17 through 21 says right and left are opposed against each other. For the desires of the flesh are against the spirit, and the desires of the spirit are against the flesh. For these are opposed to each other, to keep you from doing the things you want to do. But if you are led by the spirit, you are not under the law. If you are led by God's spirit, you don't need law, because you're going to do right because it's the right thing to do. And you will only do wrong when it's necessary. Everybody going to kill somebody sooner or later, or beat somebody, or rob somebody, or steal from somebody. You don't think so, but the minute a question is asked on a questionnaire, do you have a job, or do you have a spot, and you trying to get money, you're going to lie. Everybody lies. There are no perfect people on this earth. They just think they're perfect because they desire ease. So our best life is not being happy with what we have. Our best life is accumulation of things. So we keep buying things and things and things and things and become more miserable, but it looks like we are in heaven. God knows better. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are evident. The works of the flesh are evident. Sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, rivalry, dissension, division, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and things like these. I warn you, as I warned you before, that those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. We are not in heaven, people. We are enjoying our life in hell. When worlds collide, we're closing. We got to prepare ourselves for the fight because everybody is being coerced to push their own selfish desires. And many are prepared to kill and die for whatever they desire. You're seeing it every day. Our young people are under their desires. They have the most potential. They have the most potential to be chosen by God, but they choose Satan because Satan is a scientist and he creates chaos out of science. My son and I were talking yesterday. There is a college that teaches the science of color, the science of smell, the science of sound. People are controlling you and you don't even know it. Desire, craving, longing, yearning, suggested feelings that impel a person to the attainment or possession of something. Desire is a strong wish, worthy or unworthy. There's a good side of desire because desire fuels the will to get things done. Worthy or unworthy. Desire for something that is or seems to be within reach. Islam teaches us that hell is being at the threshold of something that is within reach, but not being able to obtain it. That is a painful state. In hell, we do things that we know are wrong because we're trying to achieve a thing. Selfish desires, lust and greed, passion, greed, covetousness, hatred. These emotions dominate the soul. I told you on another broadcast that Satan is after our soul, but he must control the spirit first. When you enter your home and the energy is negative and you get down, when you're on your way home, when you get to your community, Satan has controlled the frequency and knocked us off of the 7.83 hertz that the earth frequency is on. So our spirit is low. That's how Satan controls man. And in order to forget about your hurt and pain, you give into the negative. I'm teaching you something by God's permission. These emotions dominate the soul. Satan wants to take every ounce of light out of our soul, the belly. Everything arises from the belly, the core. Anger arises from the belly. Pleasure shoots up to the head and down to the sexual region. Who made you hate your people so much that you can kill them on sight? Who made you call yourself a nigga? You know, I put up a post about the word nigga, and some young black girl said, nigga, shut up. And I said, our future. Confused. Taking all of the negative that Satan used to mentally destroy us, we take it and use it to further destroy ourselves. These emotions dominate the soul, causing blindness and leading to destruction. Every major religion recognizes that suffering and evil are caused by excessive desires or desires directed towards a selfish purpose. I'm going to close with James 1:13 through 15, and we're done. Let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted, or I am being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted. God cannot be tempted God cannot be tempted by evil, and he himself does not tempt anyone. But each one is tempted when he is carried away and enticed by his own lust. Then when lust has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And when sin is accomplished, it brings forth death. Read that one more time. James 1:13 through 15. This is why we are zombies. We're in a state of death. All of your podcasts that's telling you about all the gangs and all of these guys, Gilly the Kid and Whack 100 and all these people, 50 Cent, that bringing all this violence and stuff to you, and they get millions of hits. They being paid to do that. They are part of the scientific strategy to keep each generation locked into this desire to be great based on what the streets say. James 1:13 through 15. Let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted by evil. God cannot be tempted by evil. And he himself does not tempt anyone. Now, because I am tempted by evil, and I am, and you are too, because we are tempted by evil, we know that we are not at God's status. Even though we call ourselves gods, we're not there. But each one is tempted when he is carried away and enticed by his own lust. Then when lust has conceived, when lust is born, it gives birth to sin. And when sin is accomplished, it brings forth death. So we are in a cycle of death. I'm going to leave it right there. When worlds collide. If you got any life left in you, you got to fight like nobody else to keep that alive. I thank you for tuning in. This is Jamil Thomas. I got a lot of interviews coming up. I apologize. Underneath this video is a Cash App, $19 promotions, and also the PayPal, paypal.me/19 photographics. If you would like to donate, you can donate under any of those two names. If you know me personally and you would like to donate that, you can do that too. I just purchased some more equipment to do more interviews outside of my home because I don't want to allow people back in my home. People are just not following the rules. So we're going to change that at the advice of one of my friends. I took his advice, and I'm going to start doing more outside interviews than inside interviews. So I thank you all for tuning in. Jamil Salib Zamir, Manning, South Carolina. Please like and share this video. If you'd like to donate, please do so. If you would like to become a member, we also have membership status on our YouTube page. You can pay for donate for a monthly membership, and you will have access to broadcasts that I don't do. If you don't see me for a week or two, I'm on YouTube broadcasting a lot of topics that people ask me to do that you won't see unless you're a part of that community. Also, you'll have privy to custom t-shirt designs for different broadcasts that we'll have if you get on and like and share on join the membership on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Jamil Salib Zamir, Manning, South Carolina.
Thank you so very much for tuning in to this month installment of the 19 Report. I am your host, Brother Johnny. I walked a thin line between right and wrong, took my fears to God, then I wrote this song. The spirit kept calling, so I answered the phone, and then I manned up and got some backbone. My mind resonates at a much higher tone, solid foundation, empire zone. 3 mountains, I'm in one, right to left counted, 9 and then 1, left to right switch it, 1 and then 9, west to east, south to north, a thin line. I know Christ exists, cause his mercy allows me a chance to stand 3 on a square. Yeah, we in there. This is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions.